nightmare. And it isn't over yet. I just had a really frightening dream about Robert. Marty hadn't left me the key to the handcuffs. I might still be on the Pullman.
Unbelievable.
I was absolutely terrified. I was pretty sure that Sean would never hurt me. But Prescott was a different story altogether. I was absolutely petrified of that man.
And Robert found you wandering in the woods?
No, I was out cold. I'd fallen and hit my head on a tree.
Well, how did he know where you were?
I had signaled a passing helicopter, and what I didn't realize was the pilot had picked up my SOS and transmitted the signal to Robert.
You are so lucky to be alive.
You know, there were times when I wasn't at all sure if I was going to make it.
Ah, I can't believe this. I really can't believe the nerve of that man. He was acting the perfect host, all the while holding my best friend hostage.
Guess you didn't want to spoil your wedding by telling you.
Well, I'm glad you can joke about it. How could Robert let him get away with that?
Well, Robert didn't know I'd been kidnapped. He thought I was off on my own, trying to figure out whether our marriage was worth saving.
Holly, while you were gone, he and Anna...
Oh, it was just an act.
Oh, well, I'd hate to see him when he was serious.
No. Robert wanted Sean to think he was more interested in Anna than he was in finding the treasure.
You mean he and Anna weren't for real?
No, they were just working together to try and nail Sean.
Oh, Holly, you have no idea how glad I am to hear that.
The one thing about all of this that I don't question now is Robert's love. Awful as the ordeal was, it did bring us back together.
The things you'll do to save your marriage.
We're closer than ever now. No woman could come between us.
I'll bet Robert is ready to tear Sean apart. Imagine his best friend kidnapping his wife.
Actually, it wasn't meant to happen that way.
Sean just threw it in for extra measure?
Well, in a way, it was my fault.
Why?
Well, I stumbled into the wrong place at the wrong time.
You saw something you weren't supposed to see?
No, I heard it. I walked into Sean's office when he and Grant were talking about his involvement in stealing the treasure.
Grant?
Oh, you didn't know?
Grant and Sean?
Oh, I thought sure that
You're
Bert would
saying
have told me.
that Grant and Sean were in this together?
Oh, Celia.
Holly, tell me.
Well, they weren't exactly in it together, at least not at first. Grant stole the treasure from Sean.
Why would he do that? Why wouldn't he just turn Sean in? Why would he take stolen goods from a thief?
Is it to get you back?
Oh, I don't believe this.
Grant thought that he could get back your love that way.
He did that for me?
Well, he tried to.
He thought I could be bought?
No,
What does that make me? Some kind of merchandise, goods for the auction block? Sold to the highest bidder.
Celia, would you
I cannot
I'm
believe
not
it.
interrupting, Scorpio, but I need to have a look at you. Excuse me, would you mind waiting outside, please? Thank you. What have you been up to? You know, your pulse is racing at a mile a minute.
Well, doctor says you live.
I never doubted it for a minute. How about you?
Me? You're the patient.
Yes, but you're worried to death. I hope it's not about me.
No, it's Grant and this treasure business. I still can't believe it. I was shocked when you told me.
I almost wish I hadn't. You should have heard it from him.
You know, I think he was trying to tell me once. On my wedding day. How's that for irony?
What did he say?
He said that he was saved from doing something very foolish and trying to win me back. He didn't say what it was, but now I know.
Don't judge Grant too harshly, you know. I mean, he was doing the wrong thing, but for the right reason.
But you're being kidnapped, Holly. There is absolutely no reason in the world that could excuse
Now,
that.
wait a minute. Grant didn't know anything about what happened to me. He wasn't involved in that the slightest.
Well, I'm glad of that, anyway.
He would never do anything like that to me.
Well, you know, he hasn't done much for my self-image. He thinks that I am so shallow as to marry a man just for his money.
Celia, really, you mustn't stop blaming yourself for what happened.
Why not? Grant stole the treasure because he thought it was the one way he could get me back.
Well, he was wrong.
The man I was married to once, who should know me as well as anyone else, thinks that the most important thing to me is money.
I think you're blowing this way out of proportion.
Am I? I think Grant would disagree with you. I'm beginning to wonder myself. And what about Jimmy Lee? Does he think, write her a check, she'll follow you anywhere?
Oh, Celia, don't do this to yourself.
I'll tell you one thing. If Jimmy Lee does think I'm like that, then this marriage is over before it really begins.
This is Holly you're talking to, remember? Your best friend? Now tell me what's bothering you.
I just feel so guilty about everything that's happened.
It's not your fault.
Grant did what he did because of me.
But he made the mistake, not you.
But he wouldn't have given that treasure a second thought if I hadn't divorced him.
Grant is a big boy now. Among other things, that means he has to take responsibility for his actions. You can't be blamed because he misunderstood you.
I don't know, Molly.
He was just grasping at straws, and he was desperate to win back your love. Not only did he not get you back, but he may go to jail.
But how could he possibly have thought that the treasure could save our marriage?
Well, I haven't talked to him, but I think I understand his reasoning.
Well, then you understand him far better than I.
Now, listen. I'm on the outside, so it's easier for me to see what's going on. But I think that he took a long, hard look at Jimmy Lee. He was sizing up the competition. He wanted to see what Jimmy Lee had that he didn't.
Money?
Well, look at it from Grant's point of view. He takes a personal inventory, and what does he find? He's intelligent, attractive, a man of culture and refinement, and his wife's just left him. So he's bound to think something's wrong with him. What does Celia Quartermain want from a man that he doesn't have to offer?
A fortune.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just suggesting that that's what Grant thought, or made himself think. It fits right into his idea of the American dream.
Well, it's a pretty one-dimensional idea.
That's just the other side of the coin. Grant used to be the enemy of capitalism.
He's a brilliant doctor, but he can be so naive.
Well, he made a terrible mistake. But he has to live with it, not you. You can't let Grant's failings torment you.
At this point, I can't do anything else.
Yes, you can. You can let all those doubts just completely let them go to rest. Otherwise, they're going to wreck your new marriage.
Holly, I swear I didn't marry Jimmy Lee for his money.
Oh, I know that, Celia. I saw you falling for him. Jimmy Lee was a man you just couldn't get out of your system.
Lord knows I tried.
Just like an itch you had to scratch. If you hadn't have married Jimmy Lee, you'd have been haunted the rest of your life thinking you'd let Mr. Wright get away.
Probably.
Well, there's no way to live. I would have done exactly the same thing if I were you.
Thank you.
Didn't mean to lecture.
No, it's all right. It is just what I needed. I didn't marry Jimmy Lee because I loved his money. I married him because I loved him. And we would be together even if he was penniless. And if Grant can't accept that, then that's his problem. What are you crying for?
I don't know.
Look at us.
What a pair.
What are we crying for when we have so much to be happy for?
You started it.
Well, I had a reason. Didn't I?
I don't know. Give me a minute. I'll try and think of something.
Oh.
No, thank you. Man,
Hey, Holly, what are you doing?
I'm going to get up.
You are supposed to be resting. Now, why don't you wait a day or two before putting any pressure on that ankle?
I have to get out of this hospital as soon as I possibly can.
Oh, women, I would think you'd be happy to get a little rest after trekking through that wilderness.
I can rest when I'm with Robert.
Where's Celia?
She's getting coffee.
Now, look, would you please just get back there? Young lady, do as you are told. Not? Never mind.
I cannot just lie here cooped up like this when Robert is out there on that case. I don't understand. The sooner I get up and about, the sooner I'll be able to be with Robert. And I can join him.
Join him? Well, I don't know about that.
Well, at least I can go to wherever it is that he's working and be a bit closer to him. You don't understand how I feel, don't you?
Yes. Holly, of course we do.
Let me tell you something. You are not taking one step out of this hospital without the doctor's approval.
Oh, I'll get it. I know I will get it. Then I can go and wait for Robert to return and we can be together. You know, I have a lot to say to each other. When I left Port Charles, I wasn't sure if I ever wanted to see him again. And now I can't imagine life without him. For the first time in a long time, I really feel like he and I have a lot to look forward to, and I want to get on with it.